Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. On this episode of Days of Our Lives, Rafe's illness deteriorates, Stephanie goes to Everett, Kate gives Chad a chance, and Connie approaches Gabby about herself. Kate visits the Horton house to present Chad with a potential investment. But she can tell he's preoccupied. He informs her about the footage that Clyde provided him and how Abby's casket was empty. The thought that Abby might be out there someplace, and that he has no idea where to look, is killing him. Kayla shares the Abby mystery with Stephanie in the hospital. Stephanie pauses, then shifts the conversation to Everett and Bobby. Marlena calls Stephanie over Everett's reappearance. Kayla advises Stephanie to give him some time to adjust before scheduling a visit with him. Stephanie must be aware that he is truly returning. She's come to understand how much she cares for him after being apart from him. Kayla urges her to leave at that moment, but she sighs as her daughter leaves quickly. Bobby goes into his Salem room and pours himself a drink. As soon as that freak who killed Li Shin holds up her end of the bargain, he plans to continue where he and Jada left off. He imagines a sultry Jada visiting his chamber in his dreams. Outside the pub, Gabby meets up with Jada. The ladies give each other hugs. Jada gives Rafe and Stefan all the credit, but Gabby thanks her for helping to release her. They talk about Bobby's claim to know who killed Lee. But now that Everett is back, Jada is at a loss for explanations. To give Rafe an update, she must locate him. She finds Gabby at Abigail's grave, he informs her. Connie stabs Rafe in the back when he is at the graveyard talking to Paulina on the phone. He hits the ground with his face first and becomes limp. Although Connie says she's sorry, she had to kill him in order to get Bobby to stop talking about how she killed Lee. All she needs to do now is bury him in the empty grave, and nobody will ever know. She steals away as she hears Jada call out for Rafe. Finding Rafe's pulse, Jada rushes to his side. She makes a help request. Upon losing contact with Rafe, Paulina and Abe attempt to comprehend the possibility that Abigail could still be alive. Then Abe informs her that he and Kate are attempting to produce body and soul in an effort to rescue it. Especially since he is so familiar with the show, she adores the concept. He believed he did, but after years of research, he's learned about all the ridiculous stories: aliens, talking dolls, split personalities, you name it. He reassures her that the tax breaks in Salem won't force them to relocate to Los Angeles. He thinks they could entice the actors to come. They can always recast if not. Chad questions Kate about her business idea at the Horton house. While he waits for Clyde's video to be improved, he needs something to occupy him. She informs him about the idea she and Abe had for Body and Soul. They have faith that they can increase their current audience and turn a healthy profit. Well, why not? Chad enjoyed working on Johnny's movie. Kate will forward the documentation. She also tells him that although he had previously lost Abigail, she had returned to him. It might occur once again. He believes that could be the reason he hasn't been able to move on, since he knows in his heart that she's still out there. Bobby answers his door to Stephanie as only a towel is wrapped around his waist. Bobby disguises himself as Everett to mask his displeasure that she isn't Jada. Everett tells Stephanie that they can't see each other anymore, but Stephanie is ecstatic to see him. He needs to devote all of his energy to achieving mental wellness since he still has a long way to go before he is completely integrated. Stephanie, who is obviously dissatisfied, tells him she gets it. She is a friend who will support him. He calls her the best while crying. She fought so hard for him, he will always remember it. Bobby smirks and rolls his eyes as she walks away. Gabby leaves Ava a message outside the pub. She truly intends to bring Gabby chic back to Demera. She's already organizing a group of people. Connie comes over. How thrilling! Where can I register? As Connie introduces herself as a Gabby chic fan and employee, Gabby hangs up. She is incredibly devoted. I wouldn't ever have to worry about giving you a backstab. Jada is observing Kayla work on Rafe at the hospital with anxiety. She is told to wait in the corridor by Kayla. Jada tells Rafe she loves him while crying. Kate visits Abe and Paulina to inform them that Chad is contributing to the production. Paulina wants to contribute as well, but since they'll need city permits to film, Abe says there's a conflict of interest. In addition, Kate set up a meeting with the studio, who expressed interest in Body and Soul's rights sale. Stephanie visits the Horton house to see Chad. She's hoping that his relationship with Abigail works out. About Everett, he inquires. Although Bobby still has a long way to go, at least he is no longer in charge of his life, according to her. Bobby's motel room is visited by Connie. He informs her that he pretended to be Everett in order to leave Bayview and steer clear of the subject of Lee's killer. How are you keeping up your end of the agreement? Connie tells him that it's already finished. He and everyone else won't have any issues with Rafe ever again. Jada gives someone a phone order to find out who stabbed Rafe in the hospital lobby. Then she remembered that Rafe had asked her to move in with him. Gabby exits the elevator quickly. Wondering who could have done this to her brother, she lets out a horrified gasp. Rafe's monitor goes out in his hospital room. He's about to go into shock, Kayla says. He's leaving us. On the following episode of Days of Our Lives, Marlena confronts EJ, and Nicole gives Leo some hard love. Kayla informed a startled Stephanie about Abigail's exhumation while she was at the hospital. Stephanie questioned whether Abigail's absence of a corpse proved her survival. Kayla countered that Clyde might have had Abigail's body moved to support his claims. Stephanie bemoaned the amount of time Abigail might have missed out on spending with her family and acknowledged that Everett's predicament had been on her mind. Stephanie thought Bobby had been preventing her from getting in touch with Everett. When Kayla inquired as to whether Stephanie had discussed the matter with her Aunt Kimberly, Stephanie replied that she had contacted Kimberly for guidance. Stephanie was annoyed by her sense of powerlessness. That is, until Stephanie got a call from Marlena. Her mood lifted significantly. Stephanie enthusiastically informed Kayla that she would be seeing Everett after hanging up. That might not be a smart idea, Kayla cautioned. According to Kayla, Everett might require some time to reacclimate. Stephanie protested that she needed to confirm that Everett was back because she hadn't seen him in over a month. Kayla observed that Stephanie appeared to have a strong bond with Everett, and she ultimately wished her daughter well. Bobby went through Everett's things in his room and gave Everett a hard time about not having enough clothes. He took a sip of his drink and grumbled something about the freak keeping her half of the agreement. Bobby dreamed of Jada showing up at his home and telling him that she knew he was Bobby while he drank. Bobby said he was sorry for tricking Jada in the fantasy, but she shoved him into the bedroom and onto the bed, where she planted a passionate kiss on him. As Bobby came out of the dream, he raised a glass to "My dreams coming true." Upon reaching Everett's residence, Stephanie rapped on the door. "Bobby, dressed in a towel," said Everett. She wondered who else he had been expecting after noticing his apparent surprise and lack of enthusiasm at her arrival. Stephanie held her breath as Everett shifted. Stephanie ran to him with excitement as soon as he came out of the restroom and gave him a hug. He snapped out of the hug and asked Stephanie how she had learned of his return to Everett after changing back to Bobby. After informing Everett of Marlena's call, Stephanie claimed she wanted to communicate so much to him. Everett conveyed that he also had something he wanted to share with Stephanie. After she urged him to speak first, he drew air and said, "We can't see each other anymore." As Everett, Bobby asserted that he needed to put his healing first and not let a relationship get in the way of his progress. He told Stephanie that he thought splitting up was the right thing to do for both of them, pretending to cry. Despite her disappointment, Stephanie forced a brave face and said she understood. She wished for Everett to put himself first and find contentment. She wished him well, gave him a cheek kiss, and turned to walk away. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.